Okay, so just to give a continuation of the lecture to finish off what I hadn't covered last week. So we were talking about strange profiles or Christmas trees, and they're called Christmas trees because they look a little bit like a Christmas tree, or sometimes they're called sailboat diagrams because think about it, if you tip them on the side, these look a bit like sails. Okay, and what they describe is they describe how the strength varies with depth for the lithosphere. Okay, and you can see that the maximum strength of the lithosphere occurs where we get a transition from our faulting and fracturing in the upper part of the lithosphere to plastic deformation in the lower parts of the lithosphere. And so we have this maximum strength occurs at the transition between the two. Okay, and if we deform slower, so this is deformed at a strain rate of 10 to the minus 13, at a slower strain rate 10 to the minus 18 per second, we get this strength, and the transition is shallower. So if we deform slower, we get a shallower transition from the fracturing to the plastic deformation. Okay. If we have a higher heat flow, that would effectively move these curves up as well, because we'd be basically moving the temperature up. That would also make the transition shallower. Okay. Also, pore pressure has an effect. So as we increase the pore pressure, that reduces the strength in the brittle regime. It has no effect in the plastic regime, and we reduce the strength. So this is increasing pore pressure here, expressed as this ratio lambda of the pore pressure divided by the confining pressure. So at this one, the pore pressure is always 0.7 of the confining pressure. And so as we increase the pore pressure, you see that the transition gets progressively deeper. Now, the strength of the crust is also dependent on the orientation of the principal stresses. And Anderson in 1905 he worked out that because the Earth's surface was a free surface, meant that one of the three principal stresses had to be vertical. And then in the extension tectonic regime, the maximum principal stress is vertical and the minimum principal stress is horizontal. And in the compression regime, the minimum principal stress is vertical and the maximum principal stress is horizontal. Okay. And then the third is strike slip, where the intermediate principal stress is vertical and the maximum and the minimum are in the horizontal plane. Okay. So there are three main cases. Okay, and we're going to, in the practical, we're going to in a couple of weeks we're going to work out the strength envelope in both extension and compression. Okay, and you'll do more about this kind of Andersonian faulting with Steve Covey-Crump in structural geology next semester. So this is a strength envelope, and we've got compression here and extension in here. And there are different slopes for compression and extension because the vertical stress in the extensional regime is sigma 1, and the vertical stress is sigma 3 in the compressional regime. Okay? And so this difference is just due to the orientation of the principal stresses. Okay? And you get a shallower transition between the faulting and the plastic regime. So this point here is shallower in a compression regime than in an extension regime. Now, this diagram, you have a think about which sorts of earthquakes are likely to be higher magnitude. Are they likely to be extensional earthquakes, or compressional earthquakes are likely to be higher magnitude? Have a little think about that. Now, these strength envelopes, we've just drawn a simple one for one material. They can be a little bit more complicated than this. So this is one for oceanic lithosphere, and then continental lithosphere we get because we get a change in strength here, but when we go across the MOHO between the continental crust and the lithospheric and the mantle below. And you know, for oceanic lithosphere, we basically we've got a hard, rigid plate, a strong plate underneath something that's quite weak. Sometimes this is often called, this is compared to creme brulee, so we've got a hard crust on top of the weak custard. And this kind of strength profile, where we have a weak middle or lower and middle crust with a strong upper crust and a strong lithospheric mantle, is often compared to a jam sandwich. Okay, and you know, this could be, you know, more complicated than that. You know, there's more. This is very simplistic. There's probably more different layering going on in there, and you might end up with something that's, you know, not just a simple jam sandwich. It's more like a club sandwich. Okay. And one of the recommended papers that I recommend you to read goes through, you know, the seismological observations and saying, well, does the strength profile really fit with all the seismological explanations? And they believe, James Jackson and his group believe that it doesn't, and we shouldn't be thinking about the strength of the crust in this way. Okay. But the trouble is that when we measure, when we do experiments in the laboratory, we seem to get this kind of relationship. So there seems to be a disconnect between what we measure in the laboratory and what seismologists think. But the plate tectonics does seem to fit to some extent with these two strength envelopes. So if we think about the differences in plate tectonics for oceanic lithosphere to continental lithosphere, they are reflected in the plate tectonics. So for instance, if we take oceanic lithosphere mainly is the plates are rigid and don't deform much and just move around on the Earth's surface, which fits with this, with a very strong lithospheric place above weak asthenosphere. Whereas we know that continental lithosphere deforms. It forms things like the Himalayas or the Alps, and we get large-scale deformation occurring in it, which suggests that the actual plate, the continental lithospheric plate, are actually deformable and not rigid. Okay, so we've got this weaker continental lithosphere, which allows us for it to be deformed and squashed into things like mountain belts, whereas the oceanic lithosphere is a strong, rigid plate which doesn't allow that kind of behaviour. So I'm just going to go on to talk about earthquakes in a second video. So tune back in when later.